my name's James Nicholson. Welcome to my YouTube channel. I've got an update here that I think is genius. I think this could help a lot of landlords, particularly in an area of the UK that needs help right now. And I'm going to talk about a council that's talking about investing millions of pounds to support landlords. I bet you didn't think I'd be saying that. They're going to spend millions of pounds to support landlords to improve their properties. There is a catch, which I'll talk about in this video as well. But by doing that, the council is also going to save millions of pounds that they spend each and every year. I have been talking about this. You might recall I was on Talk TV News a few months back, and this is what I said they should be doing, something like this. So to see this scheme, I think this is brilliant. And I think other councils should look at rolling out something very, very similar. Now, before we jump into this, if you're new around here and you haven't done already, do make sure you subscribe to the channel over there and hit that bell notification. We're one of the biggest property news channels in the UK. We'll give you house price updates, interest rate updates. We'll also give you property tips and much, much more. So subscribe and hit the bell. And let's get some views on this video. I think more people need to know about this, because if this scheme works out, it could get rolled out to other councils in the UK. How can we get some more views? Simple. Your part's easy. Smash like, tickle like, do something to that like button. That helps with the YouTube algorithm. And why not share this video, WhatsApp it or email it with a friend or family that could really do with knowing what's going on. So this is good. I really do think this is a smart strategy. Now, it might not work out, but the thought process is good. It's about spending money to save money. Councils don't often do that. And so we're talking here about Liverpool. It's a Labour council, obviously up north. We all know where it is. And so in Liverpool, there are currently 10,000 empty properties. Now, if we fix those, that's a lot smarter than trying to build new properties. I mean, every day we talk about the government just not hitting anywhere near their targets. Builders just aren't building properties at the moment. There's no incentive for them to do that. But actually, there's properties that are already owned by someone. So why don't we work with those people, get those properties back up? And this would also then reduce crime, because when you have empty properties, they attract vandalism, they attract arson, they attract antisocial behaviour. I've talked about this in Doncaster, where I invest. In Doncaster, you can get a terrace street with 20, 30 houses. One or two of them might be empty, and that one or two is where the kids hang out, the crime happens. It's a little bit scarier in that little area of that road. And so when you fix that, people take pride in that area. They take pride in that street. There's less likely to be crime in that area. And that's good for everybody. So you're bringing up the area, you're reducing crime, and you're fixing some of the housing problems that we've got. So initially, this is a pilot scheme. They're looking to spend £7 million, and they're not going to be able to fix 10,000 properties with that. Of course they're not. But what they're expecting to fix is 365 properties. And these have been empty for 1 year or more. So they're looking to get properties back in ship shape that no one was fixing. They've just sat empty. They're derelict. They're unsafe. Maybe children are playing in there and stuff like that. And those are the ones that they're going to focus on first. So they're going to focus on 365 properties. Now, they estimate that this would save them £13.3 million in temporary accommodation fees a year. So that's smart math. That's what councils should be looking at. They're not often like that, though, are they? The government, like, for example, we're putting immigrants in hotels that cost so much money for the taxpayer. But there could be other ways to do that. Now, this isn't for immigrants, just to be clear, because I know in the comments that's going to be something that starts a conversation, hopefully a polite one. But this isn't for immigrants. This is for local people, getting vulnerable people out of accommodation and into a house that they can be proud of, but also saving the council money. That's very, very smart. Now, there's a separate budget here that they'll also be doing up facilities in those areas, and that's important. You need things for people to do to improve their mental health, to get them back to work, and just to improve that community. So they're saying they're also going to spend money on improving leisure centres, gyms, and in playgrounds, making playgrounds safe, clearing them out, making sure all the equipment's safe, and there aren't people hanging around and causing problems in there. That's important. And so this is a smart strategy by Liverpool Council, and I think other people should look at doing something similar, because look, if you can spend 7 million and you can save 13, this is a good test. Now, this might not work out exactly like that. It might not. It might not be as smooth as what we're hoping. But let's just say they spend 7 and they save 10. That's still a good return on your investment. And that means the council's then got more money to focus on other problems, drug rehabilitation and all sorts of issues, and helping homeless people in those areas, and then improving everything for everyone. So there's a catch. Obviously, there's a catch. So if the council are going to give you grants to improve your property, they're going to expect something from you. And that is that you rent the property to them for 3 years. So you will get a rent, you will get your property fixed, but you've got to leave it with them for 3 years. And that makes sense, because if they renovated your property and then you put it onto the private market, then that doesn't help them at all. They've still got this big temporary accommodation bill. So their goal is to help you renovate the property, get it in order, they'll get it up to standard, then they'll put someone from the temporary accommodation in there, you'll get your rent. Now, this isn't really a catch, in my opinion, because this is for properties that are empty and been empty for more than a year. And they're properties that need refurbishment. So you're saving money on your refurbishment. You're getting a guaranteed rent after that. You've just got to make sure that that tenant is in a property that is in good order, which they're spending their money doing this. I think this is smart. And I think other councils should look to support landlords and not just vilify them all the time. And if you do this stuff and roll it out, because what will happen is councils will look at this and say, look, this worked in Liverpool. Why don't we try this in Hastings? Why don't we try this in Dorking? Why don't we try this in areas of Birmingham? If you do that, you could save the council a fortune. That's good, because people like councils saving money. You could improve the area, reduce the crime, and the landlord does well because they get their property refurbished. I think this is a really, really smart strategy. This is exactly what I was saying on Talk TV when I was on the news that somebody should do. Liverpool Council, I doubt it's from watching me on TV, but they've done this, and I think this is going to be great. And I really want to keep an eye on how this works, because if this works, I'd like to see this roll out, and that will improve the housing problems that we've got in the UK. Look, it's 365 properties that we don't have that we suddenly could have. If it works, they'll likely roll this out to more and save more money. Let me know what you think about this. If you're a landlord and you were in Liverpool, would you let them do this to your property and get 3 years guaranteed rent? I would, but I'd like to know what you think. Do make sure you smash the like button. And while you're here, before you go, do make sure you grab our ebook, Mortgage Secrets, How to Get the Best Mortgage Deal in 2025. Teach you how to get the best broker, when's the best time to start your remortgage process. Not only that, we'll give you some off-market deals. If you think car insurance, you've got Direct Line. Well, there's lenders like that for mortgages as well. They're not on the comparison site, so they're not with your broker. You need to check their rates, because they can often be better than other people, because they're not paying massive commissions to the broker and to the comparison site. So make sure you grab a copy in the description or in the first comment. Do also check out all the other content on the channel as well, including this video right here.